So this is Miss Burley. She's the special education teacher at Indian Valley Elementary School. Do you care if I share this with my class or anything?
No, you can share it with anyone.
All right. So this interview is about like technology. So what are some ways that you integrate technology into your classroom?
Well, first and foremost, my students use iPads as well as they have Chromebooks. We're a Chromebook school. I have students that I have to modify their curriculum. So, for example, I have a second grader who needs their curriculum modified to kindergarten curriculum. So we do a lot of touch point math with him.
And what exactly is that touch point math?
Well, basically, like, you use your fingers and you touch it to the iPad. So touch point math. Like, it's literally. And you can move stuff around. It's more like an electronic way to use manipulatives and stuff like that.
Okay.
It does all those things for you already on the iPad. And then with our Chromebooks, we have a software that we use called Reading Horizons. And the Reading Horizons software, we use it to practice like sight words, our most common word, which pulls from our most common word list. We use it to practice different phonics skills like digraphs, like TH, stuff like that.
Okay.
Blends. It's really just a good way to assess students, but also to them on the Chromebook, it looks like it's a game that they're playing, but I'm really assigning it. The best part of it is also that, like, they have this little store where they can spend their coins that they get as they like pass each thing, and if I can set how much time that I allow them to spend in the shop where they can spend their coins or do the fun stuff and make it have to go back to the instructional time. So it's really cool. So,
okay, if you could give me one tech tip, what would it be?
it's not just really a tip, it's more like a way of life with technology. I would suggest that you plan for each lesson an alternate strategy to use if your technology isn't working. If you plan for 30 minutes of instructional time to be completely using the iPads, the Chromebooks, whatever it is, make sure you have a backup plan if it's not working. And then two, make sure, like, I find on a regular basis that I sit there and I'm like, okay kids, like, let's log in and use the Reading Horizon software. Well, their login is their first and last name. So in special education, and especially in an elementary school, some kids don't know how to spell their first and last names, and that's really hard, or they don't have the gross motor skills to use the keyboard to be able to do that. So plan efficiently for that time. Make sure that your Wi-Fi is working. Make sure that you have a backup plan and know how to utilize your technology in the best way that you can.
Is there any specific training that you feel would be beneficial to teacher candidates before entering the classroom?
Basically, knowing how to use a smart board, knowing how to use an Elmo, because when you put the paper on there, it's got to be turned a certain way and like calibrated and whatnot. Know how to use your overhead projector. Know what your Wi-Fi passwords and stuff like that are, because my teacher network is completely done differently than my student one. My student one blocks YouTube and has all these filters on it. So really important to know that in advance. But I mean, you know that for any computer. Know, if you're like a Chromebook school, know what a Chromebook does and what it's capable of doing versus a Mac. You know, Mac, you have to double tap things differently or stuff like that. Just depends on what school system you're at. But if you could have like a crash course in technology doing Windows, Mac, Chromebooks, software like that, that would be really efficient.
How do you see technology changing education in the future?
So I guess I see it helping it. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with technology because a lot of the schools in Alabama are Title I, so you can have all this really good technology like that you can use and you can utilize. Like, So my school uses I don't even know what it's called, but it sends out messages to parents and Dojo.
Class Dojo.
Yes, Class Dojo. And that's all really great and well and stuff, but some of my parents don't have smartphones. So that's really hard for it to change the way that we are going to utilize it in schools in the future, because some kids aren't going to have access to that. Or I can give them all the logins to the things that we use in school. They can't use it when they get home.
Right.
And when they get home, they're losing, like, nobody's practicing with them, and they're losing that valuable time to keep going over things that are just going to help them in life, you know. But I guess that I see that more apps are going to be created and more programs and more things that you can use technology-wise. I think that they're just going to make life easier. Maybe they could make them smaller, or maybe some.
Oh, how do you use technology to differentiate instruction?
Specifically, like when I go into general education classrooms, I usually set it up in groups. So the kids who need it to differentiate the lesson, or to make, I guess, it differentiated, they don't even know that it's being differentiated. So like we set up groups, like they're also like sensory friendly groups, but we set up like a listening station with iPads. We set up a it's like a station, and we set up iPads, and you skim through your sight words, your most common word list, and you sit on these like little yoga ball things, but they have legs on them so they can't roll around, but the kids aren't forced to sit still. And then we have a station where we magnify the words, and we have this thing that magnifies them, and it's really cool. So basically we do it station wise to where everybody can use it in the class, and it's not just pinpointing one student.
Right.
But
so it doesn't like point them out like, oh, you need this special equipment, you need this, but everyone gets to utilize it.
Yeah, but like I said before, really most of the things that like my kids use, any kid could use, and it would just be more helpful.
All right. Well, thank you so much.